Alright, hello everybody. This is Philip Crabtree for Sonoran Desert Institute. Today I'm making a video about how to build ship the 1911 semi-automatic pistol. This is what I've been working on in my project. It's a firearm I personally own. It just happens to be dirty from going to the range here recently, and that's what we're going to work on today. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to clear the weapon, make sure there's no ammunition in there, because that's what you want to do with every weapon before you start to clean it. So, how are we going to do that? Number one, we're going to pick it up, keep our finger off the trigger. We're going to push the magazine release button with our thumb. Nothing is there because there's no magazine in there. Secondly, we're going to take our safety off. Third, we're going to rack the slide. I'll lock it in place. I'm going to look down in there, okay? I don't know if you can see it there at home, but there is nothing in the chamber there. I've got my finger in there doing a visual inspection, a physical inspection, and again I can look down here and I can see the palm of my hand, and I can see there is no magazine in there at all. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to see my hand. So now we're satisfied that the weapon is clear. Alright, we're going to go through the steps using the SIG Sauer owner's manual. I've got my laptop here, and this is what we're going to go by verbatim. The reason why we're doing this is because a lot of times if you don't follow the steps by the manual, you could have a tendency to leave something out. We don't want to do that. Alright, so the very first thing that this manual says is the recoil spring and plug are under a lot of tension, will fly out of the hole, out of the pistol unless they're controlled with positive control during the removal to prevent damage or injury. Along with that, as far as safety precaution, it also says let's wear some eye protection. I'm going to wear these glasses here, and maybe I can read that a little bit better because these are prescription. These are also polycarbonate lenses, and they they resist a lot of scratching and breakage and things like that. So I'm using these for my eye protection today. All right, we're going to get right into the instructions here. The first thing we're going to do is always make sure the magazine is removed and the pistol is not loaded. We've already done that. Again, there's no magazine in there. I can run my finger up in there. There's nothing. I can take the safety off. I can rack the slide. I've got nothing in there. All right, second, we're going to position the pistol so the muzzle is pointed up and rested on its back on a table. This is our table. This is my workbench. I got this at Home Depot, and this is just really solid for a good gunsmithing workbench. So, we've got our pistol like this. We're not going to stick any hands in this trigger area. We're going to maintain positive control of the barrel. Our third step is to pull the slide back about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to do that with this hand right here. That's about 1/4 of an inch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this barrel bushing clockwise. Just a little bit. I'm taking my time here. I'm trying to, because if we get in a rush, we can hurt, something. We don't want to do that, do we? All right. So we're going to rotate the barrel bushing clockwise about 1/4 of a turn. If necessary, use a wrench. I'm not using a wrench. I don't need to. Once the bushing is rotated, the plug and recoil spring will be free. Again, a lot of tension, so I want to cover it with my other hand and remove it. I've got my plug here. I'm going to put it in my handy dandy sandwich box. My kids use this, but not today, they're out of school. And I'm going to go to my next step. First, there's a cautionary note. Actually, it says remove the plug from the spring, which we did, and then cock the hammer. The hammer's already cocked because we've already got this back in this position. Alright, dropping the hammer while the slide is removed from the frame will cause damage to the frame. That's something we want to be careful of with this firearm. Okay, we're going to pull the slide to the rear until lug on slide stop is aligned with this assembly notch. This is the disassembly notch. This is our lug. We're going to pull that back. We're going to push with our index finger here on this little detent plug or pin. Alright, it should be coming out. I've never had this issue before. Like that. There we go. All right. Sorry for the hold up. Forgive me. I work nights and try to work this in around my schedule. All right, we've got our plug. We're going to put it right here in our tray. All right, we're going to push the slide forward off the frame, right off the frame, okay? So we're just going to take our hand. It's going to come right off. Put our receiver here. Got our slide here. We're going to pull the recoil spring guide up and over the barrel link. That is this piece here. This is the spring. This is the guide. Let's just go ahead and pull those apart. Spring, guide, slide. We're going to turn the barrel bushing counterclockwise with the barrel link in its forward position. We're going to push the barrel out of the front of the slide. Okay? So, first we're going to take this bushing off. This has got to come off. There's our bushing. Now let's push our barrel out. Right like that. There's our barrel. Here's our slide. It has nothing in it anymore except right back here, which is where our firing pin lives. Okay? We're not going to get into that detail of a breakdown today. So we've got our barrel, our slide. And there's another warning. Do not strip your pistol any further than described in this section. Do not remove or alter parts, particularly safety parts. If additional maintenance is required, return your pistol to SIG Sauer. Okay, so this is the field strip. Receiver. This is the slide. This is the barrel. Barrel bushing. This is the spring, recoil spring. This is the spring guide. This is the plug for the spring. And this is the plug which retains all of it together. The slide to the barrel with the receiver, the lower receiver. Everything is all held in there nicely with this and with this and this. We're going to put all of our pieces right back in there so we don't lose them. We're going to make sure that we're following all of our steps correctly. All right. I've shown you the firearm prior to this assembly. I've shown you that the source of ammunition has been removed, the weapon's clear, and it's safe to maneuver. We did the field stripping steps, and now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put it all back together. Okay? So, how do we do that? Reverse order. Real simple. We're going to take our barrel, put it back in through the front of our slide again. We're going to take our guide rod. It's important that you put this on the correct end of the spring. One is wound a little bit tighter than the other, and that's going to hold that on there good. So that's why I flipped it. We're going to push that onto the guide, push the spring into the slide. This has got a little half moon shape. It's going to set right there on top of the barrel like that, kind of like a cowboy in a saddle, okay? We're going to take this piece on the barrel, we're going to push it forward, and it's going to sit right there in the hole of that guide rod. That's where we want that to live, okay? Next, we're going to go ahead and put our bushing on. This is not critical right now, but it's going to keep some of this stuff locked in for us so it doesn't come out while we're manipulating it with the receiver. All right, so that's the next step, the receiver. It's got little grooves right in here. I don't know if you can see them, I hope so. Little grooves right in there. And this is going to line up with the track here on the slide. I've got it in there. I'm going to slide it forward.